Hello and welcome. Thank you for popping in. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe for me. If you find this helpful, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on the next video. Comment below with anything that you need help with or topics you'd like me to cover. And don't forget to check out my website, consultingninja.tech. Look at the resources section there. There's a whole bunch of free stuff that has been really helpful for me, and hopefully you would find it helpful as well. With that out of the way, we're going to get into some more testing. We scratched the surface on taking that first step and just getting something on the books in your application. In a previous testing video, I'll leave a link in the description for that. I am not going to code everything with you today. This code is available in my GitHub repository. I will also leave a link in the description for that. I promised I would cover snapshots, and so we're going to be touching on that today. But actually, I think what's more important is testing user events. So let's get right into it. I'm just going to walk through and kind of talk through the changes from the last time that we've done some testing. And let's go through this line by line. So in our home.js, this is where, as far as the application is concerned, where all of the major changes have taken place. And then as far as our testing, the changes would be in app.test.js. So in our home file, you can see I have added some state. I have a form object that has a name, an email, and a phone. I have a message that starts as an empty string. I have a handle submit function that does two things. It sets a message of success, and then it also removes that message after 2 seconds. And this is just kind of replicating like a successful API call. Then we have two arrays, specials, and this contains all of the special characters, and numbers. This contains all of our regular numbers. And what we're doing here is, this is just a bonus for you guys. This is an easy way to strip out numbers and specials. You define these two arrays, and then I just created this little function here that takes a value, checks to see if the value passed in exists in either of these arrays. If it does, it returns true, if not false. So that's a little bonus for you guys. Hopefully you find that helpful as well. And stick with me, we're almost through the file. Next we have a handle change, and what this is doing is taking the, looking to see if the target is name. So I also wanted to show that the other fields here, like the phone number is of type number, and so the browser is going to enforce that. We are still going to test for that. And email obviously can contain numbers and special characters. So the only time that we're really filtering these things out in this example is if the input that is being updated is the name field. So we first check to see if that's the field that a user is trying to update, and then we're running it through our little function, and if the value coming back is in fact a number or special character, we bail out. We do not make the change. And then here's our JSX, and all we're doing is rendering out a form. You will see here I've added an ARIA label to this form, and these are super helpful when testing. And then we have a few inputs with labels and a couple of BRs in between. And this still looks like biscuits. We can go take a peek if you'd like. Before we take a peek, I want to point out that I have already ran these tests, and they are all passing. I also want to say that we should always make sure that our tests can fail. One of the ways that people frequently make mistakes here is writing tests that are literally impossible to fail. So be sure to check on that. I'm going to do an npm start, just so that you guys can see that this does in fact still look absolutely terrible. And here you can see it does. And if I hit submit, you can see there's our success message that pops up and then goes away after 2 seconds. Okay, so back to it. Inside of our app.test, let's go through what we have changed here. So the first thing that I've added to this file is a snapshot. And snapshot testing, basically what it does is takes a picture of all the HTML that is rendered, and the first time that you run this, it will create a copy of that picture, and then every subsequent run, it compares the current snapshot to that initial snapshot. If it's a match, then we're all good. The test passes. If it's not a match, then the test fails. Hopefully you guys are already going, wait a minute, my application changes an awful lot. And you're absolutely right. What happens with snapshot testing often is people just begin to ignore them because they're not testing anything specific. It's basically if anything changes in your app. So these can be helpful if you have a small component that doesn't change often, but you definitely would not want to do this in your main application because your application is going to be changing frequently. Your snapshot will always fail and you'll just get used to ignoring it. But I did include this for you guys so that you can see how to use it. So we've added that test there. And this test was already there. This test was already there. Here I've added a test to make sure that the form is being rendered. You can see here that I am using this screen.getByLabel text, and we are using the user form. That's coming from that ARIA label. So you can see here why ARIA labels are beneficial, because these are technically visible to the user, and so you can access them using that screen object from React Testing Library. So I'm grabbing the form using that ARIA label and then just making sure it's there. We then have this is where we get to our user events. So the next thing I'm checking is to make sure that our name field does in fact reject numbers. And the way that we do that is very similar. So again, you don't have to use screen, and you can grab these items by many different ways. It is easy, however, to get by label text. So we have those ARIA labels, and let's just use those. So we first grab that thing, and in this case it's name, and then we have imported fire event also from React Testing Library. And then what we're doing is we're firing an event. So we fire event, and the event we're firing is a change. And then we pass it the input that we're changing and the target, an object that has a target with a value and then what the value is. And then here is our assertion for that. So since we're purposely trying to strip out numbers, then we are expecting that after firing this change event that the value should still be an empty string because we're not allowing numbers in our name. Moving on to the next one, we have rejects specials. So we also are stripping out all special characters from our name. So we do the same thing. We grab our input by the label, we fire a change event, we pass in the input that we're targeting, and then the target and the value that we're inserting there. And then the assertion here is we expect it also to be an empty string because we're not allowing special characters. Our email should accept all characters. So here is an example of testing for that. We render our app as with all of them. We grab the email input again by label, super simple. We fire a change event on that email input with that object target, the value bob@gmail.com, and we expect that value to be bob@gmail.com. The next one, this again, I wanted to put this one in there because anytime you're using your, and you should be, let me clarify, make no mistake here, we definitely in our applications should always be using types on our inputs because then you're putting the work on enforcing that to the browser. So this really is not a meaningful test in that sense, but I did want to just talk about that and show you guys. So this test is phone rejects characters. That's a number input. Here's where you get into those where this test, really what it's testing is browser functionality. So that's not really a test that we should be doing. That's a test that the browser, the people who write the software for the browser should be doing. And keep that in mind when you're doing your tests, that you're not accidentally testing something that really should be the responsibility of the third-party software that you're using in your application. But here's an example anyway. We grab the, and I forgot to update this variable, this should be phone. We grab the phone input and we try to type some characters in there and we expect it to still be empty. The next one, when the user clicks submit, we're displaying that success message, simulating like a successful send in a form on a live web page. So here's what that would look like. We grab our button. You can see here I'm using the screen.getByText, and this is visible text that shows up in the button, and so that's how we're able to use this get by text on the button. And so we find the submit button essentially, and we do a fire event.click, and we pass in the button we're clicking, and then after we fire that, we then look for the success message. So we're looking at the screen for that success message that we are adding to the HTML here. So we have, anytime someone clicks that button, we set message to success, and then inside of our JSX, we're rendering out that message here. The last two tests were already included, so let's go ahead and give this a save and open up our terminal and shut off our development server and run our tests. And you can see it goes through and runs our suite, and here now we have 11 passing tests and a snapshot. And the snapshot had already been created. I have not changed anything, and so the snapshot passes. Then we have our renders the app, renders the nav, the form is rendering, the name field is rejecting numbers, the name field is rejecting special characters, the email is accepting special characters, the phone is rejecting characters, and then the submit button renders a success message on the page. And then our other two tests that we did last time. So I hope that you guys have found this helpful. You now know how to implement a snapshot in your test, and you also know the drawbacks to using it, so be careful with that. And we also have covered how to fire off user events and test for things that we would be needing to test in our React application. If you found this helpful, don't forget to give me that thumbs up and subscribe. Until next time, you guys have a good day.